after last night's stirring victory in the GOP debate, and it really was. It was a great victory for me, because I'm very smart and I'm not poll tested. I just go out there and I say what I want, and I'm going to make the country great again. So after what was clearly a great victory for me, I decided to do something I don't always do or often do. I went to see a movie. And I saw this movie called The Fantastic Four, and I thought, well, just like when I put the name Trump on things, they sell better. So I thought, if they're putting fantastic, well, it's got to be fantastic, right? Well, sadly, not everybody is as honest and great as me. It turns out, very dumb film. I have to say that, I don't mince words. It's a stupid film. First off, it's a reboot from 2000 whatever. I don't even know when the first one came out. I was too busy making, huge deals. I was really making a lot of successful deals, basically for my whole life. And this movie comes out, and at least that one had Chris Evans, who was in Captain America. And that's somebody I want to support, who's trying to make America strong, the way I will if elected president. I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of us losing to the Persians, to the Chinese. They're killing us on trade. The Mexicans are killing us at the border, both literally and their government. And they're very smart people. But they're killing us because we have weak leadership. Well, I want leadership like Captain America, and that's the kind of leader I'm going to be. But this movie, of course, didn't have Chris Evans. Instead, in the role of Johnny Storm, they cast some guy named Michael B. Jordan. I get along great with the blacks. They love me. I make jobs. I give opportunities. But, if I prefer Michael Jordans that win rings, not ones that, get shot at Fruitvale Station. But that's just me. I prefer a higher caliber of Michael Jordans. And this was, of course, not that Michael Jordan. So very disappointing, very poor casting, in my opinion. I would have gotten, if I was the head of the studio, I would have called Michael Jordan because I have his phone number. I'm very successful. I would have called Michael Jordan. I said, Michael, I'd like you to be in this film. It's going to be great. I'm calling it Trump's 4. And he would have signed on because that's what I do. I make deals and I make America strong again. And that's only the first miscue in casting. Then we've got Miles Teller playing Mr. Fantastic, who's the so-called leader. His leadership is very weak. He's not a strong leader. He doesn't provide the kind of toughness that you need when you're going to lead the Fantastic Four. Because, first of all, Miles Teller, if you remember, was getting yelled at in a jazz band by J.K. Simmons. Now, I don't know how you can lead your superhero group if you're getting yelled at a jazz band. I was too busy, having sex with beautiful women to be involved in any kind of mundane extracurricular activities, while also scoring 4.0 on my GPA in every major school I went to. But that's besides the point. I'm very smart. But then you've got, who do we have else? We have Kate Mara. Okay, she's playing Miss Invisible. Now, I don't know if I should call her Mrs. or Miss or Ma'am. I would call, in my day, I would call a young lady Miss, and that was a term of respect. But now I don't know. Everything I seem to say offends women, so I try to play it cool. But at some point, you got to be done with trying to please everybody. So Miss Kate Mara, I can't really respect her in this role because she got pushed on train tracks by Frank Underwood in House of Cards. By the way, Kevin Spacey, very good friend of mine. I have him in my cell phone. We have dinner. He golfs at my golf course. He's a wonderful man. But if he's pushing you on train tracks, I don't know how I can have you in my superhero movie. Besides your sister, Rooney Mara, who's, in my belief, much more talented, much smarter. She ends up getting an Oscar nomination. So if I was running this instead of Fantastic Four, if it was Trump 4, I would have simply said, I would have called Rooney on the phone and said, I need you in Trump's 4. And she would have said it because she's an Oscar nominee and she knows that I'll put together the best film possible. Also, her grandparents, Kate Mara's grandparents, happen to be the owners of the Steelers and the Giants. Very good friends of mine. I golf with them. We've gone to charity events. So basically, the only member of the family I don't really like is Kate. So you can be offended by that I only like 3 of the 4 Maras. I look at that as pretty good. They just made one mistake and they put her in Fantastic Four. That's my main problem. And then we've got the final character who I don't even understand. I don't understand. There's a Thing. He's called a Thing. I don't know. Is it Mr. Thing? But he's a big, ugly thing. It looked like Chris Christie mated with Rosie O'Donnell. I'm kidding about Chris Christie, not Rosie O'Donnell. She's a really disgusting pig. And this Thing character just roams around being angry, looking like a fat pig from The View. And I can't really tolerate that. That's not what I want when I'm eating popcorn and delicious, luxurious vodkas that I sneak into the theater because I'm Trump and they're not going to tell me I can't. I don't really want to see something resembling an orange, rocky version of Rosie O'Donnell because she's really quite ugly. So, and in this movie, even the supporting actors, they have this old guy, who who's from House of Cards, another House of Cards person for some reason in this movie. They should have called it the not-so-fantastic version of House of Cards, but that's just me. That's what I would say. You've got him. He's like the fake Morgan Freeman. Well, as you can obviously imagine, if I was making this film, I would have called Morgan Freeman. I would have said, Morgan, I'm making Trumps 4. I need you in this movie. Can you do it? And, of course, he would have said yes, and that would have made the film all the more better. Basically, these movies are just being made. It's not going to be successful because it doesn't have the Trump brand attached to it. It's going to make a little bit of money because it's from Marvel, and I respect the Marvel brand. You know, they've made a lot of hits, but this one's going to be a total failure, and I'm glad I'm not affiliated with it. But they're making these movies basically to just flood the markets in China because they're buying all our products now. Under Obama, you know, our Hollywood movies aren't making as much. They're making more in China. So now you've got Hollywood studios responding to that market and saying, let's make crappier movies, you know, for the terrible people over in China who are very smart. Don't get me wrong. They're killing us on trade. They're killing us in cinema. And under my leadership, it would be Trump's 4, and this wouldn't happen. So I would have given this film a D, but that's too close to Donald. So instead, I'm giving it an F for you're fired. Next summer coming, Trump's 4. It's going to be fantastic. I'm already giving it an A.
Wanna get the feeling, gotta get the feeling going.